Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers mod showcase video, and for today we have the HVY APC, or as I like to call it, multi-gunner at your service. Oh yes, for those of you who have played Red Alert 3. So this is a little buggy, little Humvee, armed with a massive missile array on top which you can fully control. So this thing isn't particularly that strong against defense. It does have these little defensive things around the side, which is good for crashing into stuff, because that'll take the brunt of the damage instead of the actual car itself. But as for that, it's relatively weak. It has, of course, the wheels on it, it has spotlights, it has little cameras for you to look in every direction, and it has some decorative smoke coming out the back. Whether that is decorative or if it's damaged or not, I don't know, but I don't particularly care. So let's continue on with how to get in it. So how do you get in it, you ask? Well, the actual cockpit is right there. As you can see, it's sort of being selected there, but there is no direct way to access the cockpit from any way. There is like a little seat in there for you to get into. So you can get into the little thing from the little windows on the side. I don't particularly like that idea. I would like to have a doorway on it, but still, it is pretty neat to have two little passengers in here. As you can see, there are the reactors for it to charge, and there's a little rotor for the missiles. If I get out of here and jump into the first seat, any difference? Well, that's the doorway to get into the driver cockpit, but nothing much has changed for this view. Now, in the driving cockpit, you can either get it in like from the top or from the sides. I find it easier just to come around the side like this and just select it. We have, bring up the HUD, a nice little array of controls for us to use. So we have the cockpit, turn it on and off, which is basically the handbrake. You have your wheels, don't need to touch them. The turret rotor, which is how you control the turret. Rocket launcher to make it fire. The camera for the rockets. You have the spotlights on and off, the front camera which cannot move, and of course an antenna. You do have a parachute on the back in case you need it, but I don't see this surviving any kind of fall even with a parachute. So with the camera itself, let's start with the front camera. This is just the front view. You can't change it around any more than it is already. And for the actual missile, we have the missiles, and if I press number 4, I can then take full control over the missiles themselves and fire them. And they have been timer blocked, so they fire in a certain pattern. So if I come out of that and go to third person, I shall then fire it in this direction. As you can see, it always goes left, middle, right for each of the missiles, which is a very fancy thing to do. Now, I don't think I can drive. Yes, I can drive while controlling it, but if I press 4, then I get full control over the vehicle instead of the missiles. But I can still fire the missiles in a straight direction. So I'm going over here. It's a relatively speedy little vehicle, very easy to maneuver, and I appear to have lost something on the side there, but let's ignore that and carry on, shall we? But let's test out the actual missiles against the starting base. So let's parking brake on for a sudden stop. Let's take control of this, enter the camera, and aim it down, and let's just bombard this with a load of missiles. I am in creative mode, so if you're in survival mode, you probably won't be able to bombard it as much. It does appear I've taken out one pillar. Let's see if I can take out that little ramp going up. There we go. That's relatively damaged. Let's take out that pillar. Right, let's come out of the camera. F to come out of the camera. And let's just drive around and try and shoot this thing. It is nice having those little red dots everywhere so you can see where you're actually shooting. That's a really nice thing with the update. It makes it so much better than trying to actually work out where you're shooting. Although it might have been like that before, I just may not have never noticed. But still, it's relatively nice to have. There goes the solar panels. I've relatively destroyed this base. It is quite a little speedy thing, so if you're going past, you can just bombard the area, do a little drive-by like so, then come around and do a nice little sharp turn all the way around. Oh, I'm going to tip it. And there goes the top. Oops, I did forget about that. And there we go. So I did destroy the car by turning way too sharp at a very high speed, and it did take off the top. It is relatively okay, actually. It did lose the cockpit and most of the top, but the passengers would still be safe, which is quite good. And you can see that the actual armor on the side is still doing work, so it's relatively in one piece. You could probably salvage that if you needed to, but let's spawn in another one and go for a proper little crash. So there's a new one. Let's just get into the cockpit. There we go. And go into third person. So if I turn off the parking brake, there we go. It is quite nice just to have on the front, not aiming it at all, so you can just aim it like that. It makes it quite easier to control than having to fiddle with the camera in order to get the missiles to fire in the correct direction while trying to drive the vehicle in different directions like so. Let's just unlock that so I can move it around a bit. Just bombard the base. But yeah, that is generally it for this vehicle. It's very nice. It reminds me so much of the multi-gunner from Red Alert 3. And it will be in the description if you want to download it yourself. So one last thing to do, as usual, is to crash it into something. Parking brakes on. I do like the parking brakes in this game. Let's go. We're just going to bombard it, crash into it. Here we go. Get rid of the HUD. Well, I survived. I think I actually did more damage to the base. Yeah, I did. And that's quite a good example of this little protection thing on the front here. Despite hitting a pillar, it only damaged the front block without damaging the actual vehicle itself, so I'm relatively safe just to continue on with my little driving journey. So we come around again, bring the missiles down, tipping over. Whoa! It's a little bit top heavy because of the missiles. That is one thing I have found out. Well, during this video is the missiles do kind of create it to be a little bit top heavy. There goes that ship. Let's see if we can just bombard the ship. Let's go like that. Just try and take out the ship. There it is. Just remove it completely. And I do believe that thing is gone. There it is down there. Just make sure it's properly dead. I do love the missiles since the update. They are really, really fun to use, especially in creative mode. But yeah, let's just go for a little crash. Or shall we go off the cliff? Let's go off the cliff towards the ice. It's all the way over here. So you can see this thing is a very speedy little thing. I don't know if I can increase the speed anymore. Yes, I can increase the speed. Let's go for unlimited speed. Bombard the mountains for whatever reason. Oh, got some nice air there. Did I lose a wheel? I do believe I lost some wheels. Well, it's not the best way to end the video. But, oh no, all the wheels are there. But yeah, it's not the best way to end the videos. But it'll do for a crash. So it's in the description below if you want to try it yourself. It's a very fun little vehicle. And I shall be back with another space engine video some point soon. Bye bye.